Well, it's a historic moment that we're witnessing today. Massive changes, twists and turns on the political landscape when it comes to what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir. President has issued an order on application of constitution to J&K. The present order says all provision of the constitution to apply to J&K. And of course, we were reporting it for the last 1 hour how Amit Shah had, sort of pushed the fact that Article 370 and 35A should be revoked. So that's the big story that we're following up as well. We're joined by my colleague Tamanna Inamdar, Ruchi Bhatia, as well as Sagarika Ghosh, who are all joining us right now. Tamanna, coming to you first, historic moment.
No, absolutely. It's a big moment, and it is going to take some time to understand the impact of what we've witnessed in the last hour or so. So as things stand, Article 370, which confers special powers on the state of Jammu and Kashmir, has effectively been scrapped by an order by the President of India. There is also a move to split the state, in the sense both Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir will now be union territories, but there will be a legislative assembly in Jammu and Kashmir. So there will be elected government, but as it is in union territories, the governor and certain sections of governance will be with the central government. So this will mark a huge shift in the way Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are governed as of today. This with itself also scraps the controversial 35A, which imposed restrictions on non-residents having property and other rights in the states of Jammu Kashmir. So yes, as you said, it's a big move which will have far-reaching effects. We will have to wait and see how these all pan out. There are a number of questions about how this constitutionally pushes through, what are the legal battles that will ensue, and of course the politics of it all, which is the biggest impact we will see almost immediately.
Ruchi, what are you picking up? I mean, there is so much action, there's so much commotion taking place at both the houses as we speak. Rajya Sabha, of course, we were showing where all the action was centered around. What are you picking up from there?
The absolute pandemonium in the Rajya Sabha. Remember, it began with a notice that was given by Amit Shah that he will be speaking and taking 4 bills with respect to Jammu and Kashmir. Thereafter, we did see how Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad had said that there is a need to discuss the Kashmir-related issues at first, given the kind of tension that we have seen in the valley over the last 2 weeks, and the fact that several important leaders from Jammu and Kashmir were put under house arrest late last evening. Thereafter, Home Minister Amit Shah saying that he will be talking about and taking all the issues all together, and that is when he did talk about the fact that the government has decided to repeal Article 370 as well as 35A. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will be separate union territories. Of course, Ladakh without a legislature and Jammu and Kashmir with legislature. But as Tamanna was pointing out, this is going to have huge political ramifications. We have seen how the opposition was up in arms, and not just that, we did see Mehbooba Mufti almost quickly tweeting out and saying that this, of course, indeed is the darkest day in Indian democracy. So you can expect opposition leaders to be up in arms with the government on this decision. Not just that, 2 of the PDP MPs in fact also protested, and thereafter they were thrown out of the house by the Rajya Sabha Speaker Venkaiah Naidu. In fact, what is important to see is that there was massive sloganeering in the House. Needs to be seen what is going to be the government's strategy from here on. Now that they have walked the talk on their manifesto plans as well. So clearly, there is a lot that we will hear from now on with respect to the Kashmir issue, and also important to note that many at one point of time would say that there is a need to undo the historical wrongdoing that we did see during the Nehru era. So what is going to be the political ramifications of it? How is the government looking to deal with this issue is something that we will, of course, keep a close eye on.
Right. Sagarika Ghosh is also with us. Sagarika, what is your first reaction?
Well,
Article 370 of the Indian Constitution was related to the instrument of accession of 1947, by which Kashmir acceded to the Union of India. Now, it was in the manifesto of the BJP to abrogate Article 370 and Article 335A. Now, having scrapped both these articles in an incredibly astounding and bold move, and having made J&K and Ladakh into union territories, the J&K has now ceased to be a state. It is a union territory with a legislative assembly, but it really remains to be seen what the ramifications of this massive move are going to be, because the entire relationship of Kashmir, or the accession of Kashmir to India, was based on Article 370 and Article 35A. Now, the BJP may see that as wrongdoing, Nehruvian blunder. They may see that as politically unsustainable, and they're right in the sense that laws are not cast in stone. They are open to change. We cannot only have status quo prevailing. There is an important case for Article 35A to be scrapped. Article 370 being scrapped is an extremely contentious issue, and importantly, this has been done without a two-third majority in Parliament, without recourse to the two-thirds majority voting in Parliament. It has simply been done by presidential order. So the consultation, the discussion, the need to bring in stakeholders for this massive move has been given the go-by. Therefore, I really don't see a kind of a smooth passage of this. I think what is going to happen is there's going to be political uproar, there's going to be political instability, and the way forward for this government will obviously be to move in overwhelming force into Kashmir. President's rule will continue. The leaders, as we know, as your reporters have been saying, are under house arrest. But, you know, the question really needs to be asked that this kind of a massive move, why has the government felt compelled to do it without any kind of consultation or any kind of preliminary discussion with the stakeholders? You know, this is a sort of major surgery without anesthesia. So there needed to be a much greater process of discussion, and that has not happened. And I believe that now the way forward, what we're going to see is very much more instability and political discord. It's not going to be a smooth sailing at all. And I think that we have to look now to the future with a great degree of consternation and worry, and to see that, to see what will happen. Because what needs to now happen is the government needs to reach out, there needs to be peace initiatives, there needs to be development. What we do not need is more conflict and bloodshed in the valley.
Sadhika, hi, it's Manna here. Just to understand a couple of things that could happen next, and if there is anything within our system which could impede the government's intentions today. Like you said, there has been no kind of constitutional amendment which would need a two-thirds vote. There are some bills and one order which has been placed in front of the Rajya Sabha today. So would this need any kind of voting in the Rajya Sabha, where then the numbers game comes into play? And on the second leg of it, we're likely to see, the Supreme Court being moved. So could there be any action from that side?
Yes, the question is this legal? Because J&K now does not exist as a state. J&K is now a union territory. Ladakh is the second union territory. So therefore, having made J&K into a union territory and Ladakh into a union territory, from that it follows that 370 and 358 do not exist, have been scrapped. Now, is this, is all of this legal? And what is the role of the J&K Assembly, which according to Article 370, of course, that has been abrogated, but it's supposed to ratify parliamentary orders for J&K. Of course, that is not needed at all. But there could well be a challenge in the Supreme Court. Remember, the Supreme Court and the J&K High Court recently held that Article 370 was a permanent feature of the Indian Constitution. This was upheld by the Supreme Court as well. So I certainly, there is reason to believe that there will be a challenge to this in the Supreme Court, particularly because the court has in fact upheld both these laws. And the other thing is that what is the way forward for Parliament? Because this is, as I pointed out, it's not happened through through the exercise of any kind of 2/3 majority voting. It's happened through presidential order. So this, it will have to be seen how this can, how the government is going to move this forward, because it can't just happen through massive troop deployment and through simply pushing this down. Now, it's very odd, Tamanna, that when the Jammu and Kashmir politicians met the governor just 2 days ago, he assured us that there would be no movement on 358 and 370. So now it appears that even the governor perhaps didn't know what was on the card.
But if you remember, Sagarika, he said very clearly that as of now, there's nothing afoot. I can't really talk about what happens tomorrow. So maybe
the fact is, you see, but Tamanna, this has been incorporated in the Constitution by a 1954 presidential order and confers special rights and privileges on the people of Kashmir because Article 370 and Article 35A are seen to correspond with the original instrument of accession by which Kashmir joined India, meaning that Kashmir joined India because of Article 370 and 35A. So if Article 370 and Article 35A no longer exist, is Kashmir any more a part of India? That is what can be challenged. Because the instrument of accession, which I have been emphasizing, by which the ruler of Kashmir acceded to India, was based on 370 and 35A. So I believe this is going to certainly see a lot of political discord, and I certainly foresee a challenge in the Supreme Court.
All right, Tamanna, Sagarika and Ruchi, thank you so much for joining us and getting the latest updates, and also Tamanna as well as Sagarika for giving us your insights and your take as well on the pandemonium that took place at Rajya Sabha today with the historic 370 article being revoked or being proposed to revoke by the Modi government.